That's it. Today is the 15th, Tuesday, March 2022. We officially have 6 days left to go. 6 days left before they kick us off the road for good. I'll be right back, right after the entry video. Do not go anywhere. So what's up, everybody? This is Not.So.Burundian here, coming back to you yet again with another video. And today we are going to be exploring Quartier Bwiza. Now I am currently on Avenue de la Université. This is where Bwiza ends and begins as far as going and coming to from the city is concerned. Bwiza begins here, going all the way to the left. No, rather, to the right is Bwiza. To the left side is, I don't know. Let's just call it town for now. So I'm gonna go to the end of the road and then take a right turn and explore Bwiza like this. We're all trying to survive somehow. Got a little entrepreneur thing going on. Seems like the whole street is dedicated to designing sofas and beds and chairs and all that. And as you can see, Burundians are fighting to their last breath. They're all gonna leave the city center on the 10th exactly. Nobody's doing it earlier though. We're all sticking around to the very last minute. And I, for one, still have no idea whether or not I am included in the new law. Honestly, nobody knows. Because even when you talk to policemen on the road, they're like, well, they didn't really, a policeman would say that, according to the speech, they didn't really specify. Honestly, they would tell you that they don't know. But it's safe to assume that they included everyone. And for me, if sports cyclists are also included, that would be a bummer. Because then I'd be asking, like, what did we do? How did we get involved in the whole thing? But oh well. What happens, happens. We'll see how it evolves from there. So I'm currently in Bwiza right now, exploring the very first street. Hold on, let me bring down the gears. It's slightly a little better than Buyenzi, but a lot of the houses are still super old, really old. But like I said in my last video though, a lot of folks here would be more than willing to give up their compounds for the right price. But then one of my subscribers did point out the fact that so many families in these neighborhoods tend to be nuclear families. I'm talking about a household with 5 kids and above. So for all the 5 children to actually agree on a particular price as to which they are to sell the plots would be a hassle. But the neighborhood is slightly a little neater compared to Buyenzi, that is. It's more neat. The one thing that Nyakabiga has over all these neighborhoods is the installation of street lights. So by the way, once again guys, I cannot really continue on with the video without appreciating everybody that is currently subscribed to the channel. About a month ago we had just made 1,000 subscribers, and currently we are at 1.6k subscribers, making our way to 1.7. Soon I'll be clocking 2,000 subscribers, which is crazy, especially given the amount of time that it's all happening at. Now, I cannot exactly tell where Bwiza ends and begins as far as going up ahead is concerned, so I might want to cut my travel short somewhere just so I do not go beyond a given jurisdiction. But somebody told me that if I was to look to my left and see then that would be the end of Luisa. So when I reach the next street, oh, is this guy seriously carrying this whole thing on his own? You're gonna break your back, dude. It's, you know, it's not worth it long term. So I'm just gonna have to make a guess as to where I should stop from. Because I know that at a particular point I would have gone beyond Bwiza and into Nyakabiga. So for the sake of the video and the length of the video, I am going to stop on this street here. Let's dive in here. It rained yesterday around this time. Hopefully it doesn't rain today. Hopefully it doesn't rain before I finish the video, but I'm not gonna wish it not to rain, because everybody else needs it, especially the farmers. So is that a church? Ah, Lord have mercy. Yep, it's a church. I mean, if praying was the main solution to all our problems, let me tell you something. Africa, we should be the richest continent in the world, because I don't think anybody prays more than we do. Good Lord, we have a number of churches. And churches are popping up every freaking day. Well, he's gonna have to park that bike somewhere on the 11th. He will not be allowed on the road. You know, I still think there is a loophole in the law. Or I think that there is something that they are withholding because they expect almost everybody to leave. And then later on they will say that, oh, the law does not include sports cyclists or people that own bicycles for their own personal use. I don't know. It's a lot of meat right there. People getting ready for meat and beer. It's Tuesday. It's not even the middle of the week yet. But tell me you're not Burundian without telling me you're not Burundian. Beer on Tuesday. But oh well, man. You know what? Sometimes I think I can't really blame the majority of Burundians for drinking a lot, man. I guess for most people, it's a way to cope, man. It's a way to cope. They don't stop functioning because they're drunk. Not at all. They're not even drunk most times. I think Burundians, generally speaking, have a high tolerance of alcohol, as they drink that a long time. This pavement is a little unforgiving. It's a little forgiving, rather. So I'm traveling a lot quicker. We're reaching Avenue Peuple Burundi up ahead. And then we'll dive into another street. There goes another church. Two churches on the same street. And that's not even the end. We're probably gonna count more than 10 in one neighborhood. Each one of them playing music out loud when it's worship time. This is peak traffic time because people coming from work, going home. There tends to be a lot of traffic on this street. It's currently around, I think it's about 5 o'clock or 4:50. Ooh, this road is super messed up. Oh. All right. Now this is my very first time exploring some of these routes. I've never been here before. This is my first time ever. Luisa. And I've never seen so many street dogs in one place at once. This is the first. Thank God they're not rabid. Instead of churches, we have a couple of clinics. hospitals. I can never really tell the difference. And I thought about something the other day with regards to the new law, something that the regular guy doesn't really think about because, you know, they're not savvy. They're not politically savvy, or rather, they don't think far enough. So the thing is, I was thinking, if urbanization is the cause for the banning of the tuk-tuks, motorcycles and bicycles, what the new law basically means is, at the very base of its meaning, it just basically means that as the city continues to expand, so will the borders of the new law. Eventually they're going to push them far and far and far to a point where they're not going to be allowed anywhere, essentially. So let's say, like, at the moment, if you are on your way to Rumonge, they will not be allowed to cross the river. There's a river out there, it's called in Kanyosha, I forget what it's called, but they cannot cross that line because it's not as developed over there as the city center. But now let's assume that the development pushes on further towards that area. It means they're going to have to stretch it out even further. Eventually the excuse is going to be that you guys are not suited for the road or the environment at all, which would be crazy. Now again, I don't know where I should stop, but let's continue up ahead a little bit. Now, a lot of you have asked me so many times what kind of camera that I use, and I use the DJI Osmo Action, the first generation. But if you're looking to buy a camera to be doing the same thing that I do, grab the second gen. At least that camera has horizon leveling. I don't have to explain, just Google it. Google what horizon leveling means. It's a really cool feature to have on an action camera for vlogging and action, whatever. But horizon leveling is a really cool feature, and it has even longer battery life because it comes with two battery packs that operate at the same time. There's a word for that. Simultaneously, yeah. They basically complement each other. So a lot of you have been wondering, a couple of you have asked me this question, which is you've been wondering whether or not the channel will survive after the law comes into effect. And all I can say is that look, I have already covered enough of Bujumbura, I think. There's going to be a couple of neighborhoods that I haven't explored, you know, like Kinanira. There's another neighborhood on the opposite side of town, which is I haven't explored Ngagara, I haven't explored Chibitoki, I haven't explored what's that neighborhood that comes after Chibitoki on your way to Rwanza? I forget what it's called, but I've showed enough of Bujumbura, so if anything, it's probably time to move on to another neighborhood, move on to something different. Burundi is not just Bujumbura, so if we cannot explore here anymore, we'll just have to move to another neighborhood. And I could also use a car to explore the remaining neighborhoods, but then I don't know. We'll figure it out. So I wonder where this road leads, because I thought that every single one of these roads would come through to the tarmac. So what is going on here? Okay, we have an adventure on our hands. Let's do this. Sawa. Unakwaje? All right, so up ahead over there is the main road, but we're not gonna go there. There's no point. Let's just dive in this way and explore more of the neighborhood. Bwiza is slightly neat compared to Buyenzi. It's just, you know. And I keep saying a lot of the comments that talk about the government doing something about how bad these neighborhoods look. And look, as much as I agree that the neighborhoods look bad, I tend to look at things from a different angle a lot of the times. Because when you see the pavement, that's the government doing its job. The government laid down the pavement. They laid down the water drainage system, such as over there. So they've done their part. There's nothing they can do as far as the individual buildings are concerned, because these buildings are not public. They are privately owned. And so it is up to the owners of the building to revitalize the buildings or houses that they live in. The government cannot do anything about that. And so if economically they are incapable of building better, expanding, or, you know, remodeling their houses, then there's really nothing that the government can do. And one subscriber pointed out that a lot of the families here are actually rich, but the only problem is that they are nuclear families of with children, with over 5 to 10 kids. And so if one of you is well off, it's really hard for you to come back and decide to remodel a house which you're not going to own, which you will eventually have to share with your other siblings. And so a lot of the people who are capable of rebuilding these houses, they choose to build somewhere else so that they don't have to deal with the sibling quarrel. Is that the right word? I think. Yeah. Let me do one more street, and then is that tarmac up ahead? Oh yeah, that's tarmac. Nah, let's dive in here. I don't know where the exact border is, but basically I'm using this bank up ahead as a reference to the end point of Bwiza. So you can tell that life is slightly a little hard on folks out here. They're not that well off economically, but so are most people everywhere in the world. But things will change as we keep growing economically, as we keep bringing in new investments and the lots. Oh, and by the way, I read somewhere on a blog somewhere that YouTube is not playing ads in Rwanda anymore, and that is a major tragedy for all of my Rwandese YouTubers out there, especially those of you that produce content in Kinyarwanda. That's a huge blow. I read one guy who wrote that when YouTube stopped playing ads in Rwanda, it alienated about 60% of their income from YouTube. And that's crazy. And that's what I keep saying, man. If YouTube is not monetized in your country, you are limiting yourself if you produce content in your local language. I mean, why do that anyways? One of the main reasons why we produce content on YouTube is so you are introduced to a wider audience, people from all over the world. And currently, and this is knowledge that is known by everyone, English dominates all over the world. So why would you use your local language? But I get it though. I mean, if you live in a country like, well, it's a country that I cannot mention and I don't want to mention on my videos because of particular reasons. But it's a country that is currently in conflict with another, and the letter begins with R. And do not mention it in the comment section because it will not pop up. But yeah, if you live in a country like that, it makes sense that you produce content in their language because it's a huge country and YouTube does monetize over there. You can almost solely depend on the income coming from that country alone because it's huge. But if you produce content from small countries like ours, then it is absolutely so not beneficial that you produce content in your local language. Okay, I believe that officially Buyenzi ends on this road. Beyond this point, it's Jabe, if I'm not mistaken. So let's check it out. That looks like a hotel. If it's an apartment complex, then they got something right going on. And I saw a couple of RAV4s that are hybrids. For those of you that don't know what a RAV4 is, it's a car. It's a Toyota SUV, compact SUV. And I've seen a couple of hybrids in Burundi. And I'm like, bruh. First of all, we do not have the tech or the expertise to deal with hybrids, number one. Two, hybrids are seriously dying out. Right now, it's either you go all electric or stick to gasoline or diesel. Hybrids are like, there's no point. You're just basically limiting yourself. You might as well just go all electric. But people buy these cars for some reason. I don't know if they take advice before they make the purchase. But oh well. And then you got people that buy cars from Mazda. You got people that buy cars from Alfa Romeo. And I'm like, yo, this is Burundi, and not just Burundi, it's Africa. Those cars are like 1 in a million. What happens when the car dies out? What are you gonna do for spare parts? And also, a lot of those cars require special tools, which is even more of a headache for the mechanics who are not expertise as far as dealing with those cars is concerned. So I don't know, man. And a lot of you keep purchasing these BMW X3s and the Nissan Jukes. Like, why? Like, if you just take your time, not even more than 20 minutes really, and just type in a Nissan Juke, is this black one here. The one you see right here, that's a Nissan Juke. Like, why would you purchase that car? If you look it up on Google and read the blog posts, you can tell already that that car has a major defect. The reason why it was discontinued in Japan. And they are extremely cheap online these days. Like, you gotta read these things before you make a purchase, man, and give up your hard-earned money. But people want to be unique for some reason, and I can't fault them. I wonder if the camera is still recording right now. Usually it shuts down if I record for too long at once. If it's off, that's gonna really suck. So I believe up ahead will be the end of Bwiza. Somebody told me that when you reach Kingstar petrol station, which is the one that we passed a while back while cutting into this street. But let's continue up ahead and see what's up. This is a workout. Every time I step out to record these videos, hell of a workout. Oi, samani bro, naomba nikuulize. Bwiza inaishia wapi nikiwa naenda hivi? Mimi siingii popote pale. Nataka nijue mwisho wa Bwiza tu. Naenda kwa hii direction. Nataka nifike mwisho wa Bwiza, alafu nijue hapa ndio mwisho. Nikivuka kaburimbo ni Jabe. Hapa juu sio Bwiza tena. Nyakabiga. Sasa.
Ni kamera. Ni kamera hiyo. Kamera hiyo.
Utanitafuta YouTube, utajiona. Oh, I need to confirm if the camera is still working really quick, because I'd hate to be wasting time in speech, and that would hurt bad. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. We are still operational. Oh, that's a depot. I think I'm in Jabe for real. But this is the main market though, and they call it Isoko Jabe. So I think the road that I'm on right now separates Bwiza from Jabe, I think. And for time's sake, and for the sake of me not getting anything wrong, I think I am safer ending the video at the end of this road and calling it a day. I was actually supposed to upload a video yesterday, but you know, I got lazy on Monday, I got lazy on Sunday. And as a YouTuber, I think you are allowed to slip off one day, you know, just so you don't burn out. But I have very little time left, and so I'm gonna have to record about 4 to 5 videos back to back until the 20th, and then cease all operations on the 20th, and then begin to plan to move to a different city. I want to try and explore Gitega, and then after that maybe Ngozi, and then go check out Muyinga, is it? Muyinga, I think. All over. And then at some point, someday, I want to be able to purchase a bike and nicely begin to actually really nicely travel throughout Burundi. I mean, explore the entire country. Seems like a tuk-tuk just had an accident with a car, and that's happening on the very last days that they kicked them off the road. I mean, this is really a bad time to have an accident on the road as a motorcycle rider or a tuk-tuk rider, because then you have no case at all, because they're kicking them off the road, blaming them for most of the accidents that happen. So you don't want to still be causing accidents at a time when you are trying to beg the government for, you know, leeway. All right, guys, I'm just going to take my guess and assume that this is the end of Bwiza on this road right here. I'm currently, this is Avenue Burundi, and up ahead is the tarmac that separates Bwiza from Jabe. Also, I think somebody told me that that part over there is the separation between Bwiza and Jabe. And so I think I'm going to end the video here. I must be in the 40-minute mark. I'm not sure, or more. I don't really know. But everything to the left at this point is definitely Jabe. And everything to the right is Bwiza. That I know for sure. Kids are headed home from school. And so that's it, guys. This is Not.So.Burundian here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Let me end the video right here and call it a day.